I got another one for you.
Un momento.
37 house.
You guys are so blurry. I'm trying to focus.
You had a recording?
What?
No, he took the recorder back. Did you take the recorder?
Yeah. You went to get the recorder.
Yeah.
If he's not back in a moment, I'll go. I support you.
Listen to you.
What are we waiting on? Are we waiting on something? Yes, but we are being recorded here.
Yeah.
Just so you know. He's going to get the recorder. And then we'll start. The rest of it. I don't want to say. Do they do? I don't know.
Augustine Street.
No,
Swap.
it's plot. And it's all over the line.
That's fine.
Somebody else.
Huh? Come on now. Escuela. Okay. All right, we're back in business.
Good evening. We're going to call this meeting to order, colleagues. Joint Community Development Tax Abatement Committee, Tuesday, January 28th, 2025, at 6:30 p.m. at the Board of Alders Chambers. The Joint Community, Community Development Tax Abatement Committee will meet in person at 6:30 on Tuesday, January 28th, 2025, in the Board of Alders Chambers located at 165 Church Street, New Haven, second floor, to hear and act upon the following: LM-2024-067, order of the Board of Alders of the City of New Haven authorizing the City of New Haven to enter into a cooperation agreement with the Housing Authority of the City of New Haven and Glendower Group, Inc., and St. Luke's Development Corporation and St. Luke's Glendower LLC with respect to the redevelopment of 117-125 and 129 Whaley Avenue, 10-12 Dickerman Street, and 34-36 Ferry Street, including a tax abatement pursuant to Section 28-4 of the New Haven Code of Ordinances. This item is on file and available for public inspection in the Office of Legislative Services, 165 Church Street, New Haven, per order Honorable Carmen Rodriguez and Honorable Jose Crespo. Co-chairs attest. Honorable Michael Smart, City Town Clerk. If you need an accessibility related accommodation, please contact 203-946-7651 or 203-946-8582 TTY. In accordance with the City of New Haven COVID-19 guidelines, masks are now optional. public may send comments to public testimony at newhavenct.gov. At this time, starting with my right, my colleagues would state their name and wards for the record. I am Alder Carmen Rodriguez, Chair of the Community Development Committee.
Frank Redenti, Ward 15, Community Development Committee.
Brittany Mayberry Niblack, Ward 20.
Ron Wingate, Ward 29, Community Development / Tax Abatement Committee.
Jose Crespo, Chair, Tax Abatement Committee, Ward 16.
Frank Douglas, Ward 2, co-chair of Community Development and vice chair of Tax Abatement.
Teresa Morant, Ward 12, Tax Abatement Committee.
Amy Marks, Ward 26, Tax Abatement.
Kimberly Edwards, Ward 19, Community Development.
Thank you, colleagues. At this time, we're going to ask that the presenters of the item come forward, please. And as you all are coming forward, once seated, if you can give your name and address for the record. Thank you. Please. Yes.
I just got news that one of the main players to the store operation passed away. I'd like to just ask for a moment of silence.
Yes.
At this moment, we'd like to have a moment of silence for the passing of Bill Spruill, who was one of the main players. Should be here today, but unfortunately, he passed. Please. Jim.
Keep in mind.
At this time, again, my vice chair.
So, once I said, Mr. Bill Spruill passed on, and he was one of the main players in this whole operation. So a moment of silence would be appropriate, please. Thank you.
Thank you for being here this evening.
Kathy Schroeder, 170 Borman Road, East Haven, Connecticut, Deputy Director, Administrative Services, City of New Haven.
Sam Andon, President of St. Louis Development Corporation.
Haley Vincent Simpson, Project Manager for the Glendale.
Fred Taylor, Vice President, SLDC.
Jim Miller, Acting Executive Vice President for the Glendale Group.
And if I can, if anyone that has not given their address, please provide that at this time.
458 Grand Avenue, New Haven, Connecticut.
79 Upper State Street, North Haven, Connecticut.
You want to work address? 360 Orange Street, New Haven, Connecticut.
Sam Andon, 15 Rochford Avenue, Hampton, Connecticut.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Before we began, there was a change, and I don't know if you received it. It was not sent in a timely fashion, and I will own that. We had to revise the order, and it's due to the fact there's an MOA with the state of Connecticut SHPO due to the demolition of Papa John's. So Glendower and the Housing Authority and the city, we're responsible for making sure that they fulfill the agreement with SHPO. So to have the mayor sign that too, we added it to the order. Basically says that they're dropping Papa John's, they have to document the building and submit that to SHPO. And then in the alternative, Henry Street will be rehabbed according to historic standards. That was the agreement with SHPO. I have one copy with me. I submitted an email to Al, but of course it wasn't timely. Do you want to? Language is the last part.
I have a copy.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Alder.
Let's all get the copies and then we'll proceed.
He's already making copies.
Okay.
One step ahead of us.
While those copies are being made, can I pass around the fact sheet for the development?
Madam Chair, may I ask a question? That's the chair. Ms. Schroeder, for the Henry Street, just didn't see Henry Street in this, and just was hoping for clarification of what you're referring to as Henry. Well, through the chair.
I think let's wait.
Through Madam Chair.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's hold,
No.
Yeah, keep passing it around.
Oh, I'm sorry.
we all got the same.
I have to get one. Oh, God. Thank you. If not, we go in the middle for extras.
MOU with Frank.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
I think, hold on, I'm getting, are we supposed to have two, Madam Chair? We're looking for two papers,
Yes,
one entitled fact sheet and one looking like an order. Nothing need to pass.
and then you're gonna get a copy of the MOA,
Thank
which
you.
is the separate from the co-op. It's gonna be- Yes, it's the actual MOA that has, last minute.
And one of those first. Okay, thank you. You can proceed. We can.
You want me to start with the project, or you want me to start with the memorandum? I just wanted to make sure you knew it was in addition to the order before we started that.
Let's start with that.
Okay. So this is the MOA that's between Glendower, the city, and SHPO. So for them to actually execute the project itself, this was a requirement because Papa John's building, which is the Whaley Avenue building, is historic, and they're demolishing it. So SHPO said, okay, since you're taking down this historic building, our swap would be Henry Street, you're gonna rehab that all historic as it's supposed to be. And that is the agreement. So it's actually outside the co-op agreement, but it's still part of the project. That's why you don't see Henry Street on the order, because it was like a quid pro quo with SHPO for their approval to demolish Papa John's.
Okay,
Signed document.
thank you. We can just start the presentation.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
is this executed or
No.
not yet? Okay,
Nope.
that's it, thank you.
Thank you. Proceed.
Good evening, Board of Alders. Thank you for having us here. We're extremely excited about this development. So the Glendower Group, which is an instrumentality of the New Haven Housing Authority, we've entered into a co-development agreement with the St. Luke's Development Corporation to develop the real property located at 117-125, 129 Whaley Avenue, 10-12 Dickerman, and 3436 Ferry Street, for the purpose of developing 53 residential units with commercial and retail space on the first floor. These apartments will be affordable, deeply affordable. We have committed to set aside 6 units for those who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. The project, of course, includes the demolition of the structure that is currently at the 117-125 Whaley Avenue. Demolition into a 5-story residential development. So this will be mixed income, and this, of course, will contribute to promoting healthy lives, a strong community, and a robust economy for the residents in Ward 2 and beyond. So this is a project that, we've successfully applied for the Community Investment Fund with the City of New Haven for the Whaley Avenue revitalization, where a portion of that will be passed through to us for infrastructure costs as the city works on the Whaley Avenue street. So the current cooperation agreement that we have with the city, state law, we are not allowed to pay as a municipality. We are not paying property taxes. So what this cooperation agreement is proposing is $450 per unit on this over the next 40 years. So that is roughly $1,592,765 in property taxes, cooperation agreement payments as compared to $0 that we're currently paying. Additional costs also include one-time building permit fees of $300,000, the new construction of 49, I apologize, 49 affordable units with supportive services. The units will be built to the HERS LEED Platinum standards. Again, the demolition of the entire existing structure. The first floor will have commercial space and special meeting spaces for the area and health and wellness visits from doctors. So in the package that I have distributed to you, you will see a breakdown of the current sources that we have. So the St. Luke's Development Corporation, they were successful in receiving a federal EPA grant. The Glendower Group had applied to the Federal Home Loan Bank grant for $500,000. We've since leveraged private equity as well as permanent equity, and additional sources are committed. And you'll also see the uses that are broken down there. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I just say, add, I can recall, I just talked to Al, this was probably discussed in Vista, but as the chair of Vista, I can say that this is also something that falls under the guidelines and requests by Vista, so it's an agreement with what we've done in the past. So just in case anybody has any questions.
Thank you for that. Any other? Are there any other presenters?
I just like to say that this is a project which is near and dear to St. Luke's Development Corporation and to the parish, which has been there for quite a long time. We've seen the deterioration in the neighborhood, and we have committed to ensuring that we transform the place into a nice livable place for those of us who worship there, who work there, and do other things. So this is a project which is very dear to us, and we are committed to doing everything to make it possible. Thank you.
If there are no other questions, we'll start with Alder Wingate.
Thank you for presenting tonight. Thank you so much, and all the wonderful work that you've been doing. I have a question in reference to the MOA. I was back and forth a little bit, but it was a part of, you say Henry Street?
Henry Street was the swap, yes.
Okay.
That ship both separate.
Okay, so talk a little more about that. Yeah, and from my understanding, the MOA is normally signed, right?
Well, we can't have the mayor sign it unless you all approve it. So
Okay.
that's why we had to do this last minute thing, which is not how I do business, but, yes, it became a problem when they were dropping Papa John's building on the area. Because
Okay.
that's historic, and generally, they don't allow you to drop historic buildings. But they will say, okay, well, since you're dropping that, then we want that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they did. They did it with Prince, one of the schools when, over
Prince
here
Street.
with RMS. They had to drop that school, so they had to do something else. I think Prince Street was the alternative that they did. So SHPO, this is a normal SHPO document. Our
So-
responsibility is to make sure they fulfill it.
So in the new documents, Ms. Stroller,
Mm-hmm.
is the Henry Street project is going to be in it?
Henry Street project is it's not part of, it's like very hard.
It's
So
not,
it's not
St.
part of the
Luke's.
St. Luke's
it's not part, it's
development.
not part of the St. Luke's project. What I said, Howland already acquired the industry properties.
Okay.
And the quid pro quo, since we are demolishing the historic property, we're going to ensure that we take this property and we're gonna upgrade it and renovate it in accordance to historic standards. So that's what we're gonna do, is a quid pro quo. So taking out a historic property, which is also historic property.
Right.
And we're gonna replace that property.
So the
What-
reason it didn't come separate is because they can't move on St. Luke's
Right.
without having this at the same time.
Right.
I got you.
That's why it's now together.
I like together. Question is, where's written down that it's going to be together? Where is it written?
What do you mean? It'll be-
How can we ensure, how can you ensure?
Talk to me now.
I've been on.
You know me and I know you.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
What you're asking for is, how can you ensure that I'm not gonna demolish Papa John and say, I forgot all about this property? The order implies that, I'm going to, comply, that I'm going to renovate Henry Street in accordance to historic standards. Right. That's the order. So I was not, what's the Bay order. So that is the order. The order said that we're gonna do both. Right, so yes.
No, thank you.
And then we will be held accountable for, taking Henry Street and doing it in accordance with, historic standards.
Right.
Otherwise, we would see you over and over and over and over again for the next 20 years.
Okay, all right. As long as you're paying, I'm forever seeing.
But we can assure you that we will comply with the order. We can assure you that we will do Henry Street in accordance with historic standards.
And if I may, when we go to submit for SHPO on the Henry Street, they will absolutely bring this up.
Okay.
Because they brought up a St. Luke's document from like 10, 15 years ago. So they will absolutely ensure that we comply with what is documented in this MOA.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Sure.
Any other questions from committee members?
Just a comment.
We're gonna do the comments in discussion. Questions at this time for
Thank you,
Alder Marks?
Madam Chair. Thank you for the presentation and the exciting project. Nice to see you all here this evening. I just was eager just to hear a few more details about affordability. Heard 53 units. I heard 6 set aside for homeless or at risk of homelessness. Can somebody just speak to
I would make a record for the record, it is 49 units.
49 units? Thank you.
Yes.
I saw that
40,
49.
40 4 will be, project-based, units, which means they will be affordable for families from 0 to 50% of median income. And so the other 5 units will be, targeted for working, families, 50 to 80% of the median. So all 49 units will be affordable for families below 80% of the median.
Nice.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That answered my question right on the head.
Thank you, Mr. Marks. Are there any other questions from committee members? Oh,
So those remaining will be market rate?
No.
Not so the market.
No market
Okay.
rate. Market rate is typically above 80%. And the reason we don't have market rate units in this case is project feasibility. The 5 units will be, at rents that are affordable, but they will be below market. We have a lack of housing in the city also, not only for families who are poor, but also families who are working families. So 50 to 80 is the sweet spot that we need to serve.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Alder Edwards.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a quick question. The Alder of the Ward, what is your take on this project being in their area?
Oh, we will defer to the Alder Douglas.
We've been
I would like to know.
we've been working on this for quite some time. I've been in office for 13 years. They were working on this prior to that, and to the extent of their first property that they have. And I'm jumping on my heels because we're here.
Thank
I'm
you.
fully supportive.
All right, thank you.
They have not dropped the pen. Always stayed in contact, and I really appreciate that. So moving forward, let's go.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Alder Marks.
I asked another question of Mr. Miller, given his knowledge of details. Just curious, you mentioned just the project-based voucher. I don't see a project-based subsidy in the sources and uses. What, can you just speak a little bit more to the project-based
What happens
funding?
is that, families at 0 to 50, they would pay 30% of their, as you know, 30% of their, just income for rent. Typically, that's in the neighborhood of 275, 3 something a month. Obviously, that's not enough to carry the debt. So the gap between what they can pay and the fair market rent at 120, which is probably $18, $19, $2,000. So what you see is they pay 30% of their income, and the vouchers pay the rest up to the fair market rent, which is at 120 fair market rent. We can do that because we are moving the work agency. So we take those additional that additional income, and we leverage it and we borrow debt. So there's about $8 million worth of permanent debt in this property, and that is financed from the income from the subsidies.
If I may ask, is that HANHMTW, is that the project-based money?
No,
I'm
that's
just looking at where
because we're moving the work agency.
I'm just, if I may.
That's our money. That's the housing authority's contribution to the project.
Where is the project-based?
Project based, you don't
subsidy
see that. If you want to see project based, you'd have to look at the income statement, which you see there as the development budget. And if you look at the income statement, you'd see revenues, and you'd see the subsidy, you see the total income, you see the expenses, and then you see the net operating income. And we take that net operating income, and what you see in there in the sources is permanent debt, right? So the permanent debt is what? The extra income allows us to borrow the money, and that's what makes this project work. If we didn't have the vouchers, we wouldn't be able to borrow any money. If we didn't have vouchers, and we didn't have your tax abatement, the project wouldn't be feasible.
Madam Chair, if I just may ask, what is the value of the vouchers?
Typically vouchers about $1,400 a month.
I'm sorry, to clarify, the amount of the contract for the vouchers, how many million?
I would have to say it would be about $1,400 a month times 49 times 20.
Thank you.
Millions.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the
Is
very
there any-
interesting and helpful information. Thank you.
All right, any other questions from colleagues? We have no other questions. Thank you all for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if there's anyone from the public wishing to testify on this item, please come forward. And for a second time, if there's anyone from the public wishing to testify on this, speak on this item, please come forward. And for a third and final time, if there's anyone from the public wishing to testify on this item, please come forward.
Madam Chair,
Second.
Alder Douglas,
make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
the item has been moved and seconded. Discussion on this item. On the public, apologies, we're gonna close the public portion at this time. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? Nays? The ayes have it. Discussion on the item?
Madam
Alder
Chair,
Crespo.
I move that we read the order so that it can be on the record. Now that we have a new order, which reads, order the Board of Alders of the City of New Haven authorizes the City of New Haven to enter into a cooperation agreement with the Housing Authority of the City of New Haven and Glendale Group, Inc. and St. Luke's Development Corporation and St. Luke's Glendale LLC with respect to the redevelopment of 117-125 and 129 Whaley Avenue, 10-12 Dickerman Street, and 34-36 Ferry Street, including a tax abatement pursuant to section 28-4 of the New Haven Code of Ordinances, and to enter into a memorandum of agreement concerning documentation and preservation of historic buildings affected or potentially affected by such redevelopment pursuant to section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act.
Second.
I feel that, given that this meets both what we've done in the past, LISTA, it also adheres to LISTA requirements or guidelines or suggestions. The fact that it has 49 affordable units, it has 6 units or 5 units that are going to be to working families or those that are at risk of homelessness or homeless. It meets with the legislative agenda that we are building to make affordable units. And I think this is something that we should approve. Alder Douglas certainly has been hearing about this for the last 13 plus years. And he's certainly in agreement. It's in his ward. He's completely on board. I'm completely on board. As both chair of 2 committees that have seen this before, and I think that we definitely should approve it.
Thank you. So, of course, you already know my position. This has been dear to my heart for 14 more years. And very heartfelt to see that it's in fruition now that it's really a reality. I did have some doubts along the way, but I see that we're going to make this happen. So, thank you.
Any other comments from committee members? Alder Wingate.
I support the project.
Thank you. Alder Crespo.
Madam Chair, I also wanted to highlight for Alder Wingate that the order itself reads exactly to your point, that it will enter into memorandum agreement concerning documentation and preservation of the historic building or potentially affected. So it definitely reaches to the agreement of the preservation of that historic building. So the order itself speaks to the fact that they're going to produce the rehabbing or rebuilding a historic building back to its original state.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions from committee members? Okay. So, no? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Oh,
Abstention.
okay. We could all noted. The item has been moved,
Second and agreed. upon.
second and agreed upon,
Madam
so
Chair, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? No. The ayes have it. Thank you.
You are there.
Oh, we doing good with time.